All right, first things first, let's get our motivation for today. Let's see what we got. As a matter of fact, we gonna scroll until we can't scroll no more. There we go.
Grammarly doesn't just help you with polishing your emails, it also lessens the mental load of replying to emails.
No more.
All right, let's switch over.
No
I'm gonna
more.
run that back.
No more. No more. No more excuses. No more I'll start tomorrow. No more just this one time.
So,
No more accepting the shortfalls of my own will. No more taking the easy road. No more bowing down to whatever unhealthy or unproductive thoughts that float through my mind. No. No more.
I don't want you to be a fucking loser. What if you told people the story of, hey, I had a fucked up life, but I don't want to tell you that. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do next, and I'm going to go out and do it. That is what self-development is about. That is what peak performance is about. That is what breaking through self-limiting beliefs is about, is rewriting the story, because as long as you have breath in your lungs, as long as your heart is beating, as long as you have consciousness in your mind, you can go and rewrite the story of how your life ends and how your life continues from this day forward, the legacy that you live.
God made you for a purpose, on purpose. And the truth about it is, most people ain't gonna understand it because they didn't create you. Stop letting people quote this. Stop letting people that didn't create you control you.
yes, sir.
You're allowing human beings that are living their perspective and respect to it. You're allowing people that's living their life, their truths, all those things that are putting those on you, and you're feeling guilty, you're feeling bad, you're feeling like you're not enough, with people that don't even know their own worth.
Yes, sir.
You're allowing people that don't even know who they are to put labels on yourself for you to question who you are.
No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more indecision. No more lies.
And say, in spite of this, I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back, and I'll be stronger and better because of it. You have got to make a declaration that this is what you stand for. You're standing up for your dreams. You're standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. You want it, and you're going to go all out to have it. It's not going to be easy when you want to change. It's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out.
Fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present and may not ever exist.
Yes, sir.
And no more weakness. No, now is the time for strength. And through strength and through will and through unwavering discipline, I will become what I want to be. I will become who I want to be. And then, and only then, will I rest and say no more.
What do you do when death comes to your door? When sadness and sorrow comes and accompanies it? When the person that you looked up to the most is gone, the person you were closest to is gone? How do you channel that grief into something that can give you relief? What you do is you buckle down. In order to buckle down, you gotta dress up for battle. You gotta remember that you're a soldier and that life still has purpose and value and need, and it needs you. Your skill set is still fresh, your talents are still available, your head knowledge is still useful. You have to be able to get in gear, get in position, and remember your ranking, your calling, and rely upon the training of life that you've been given, and step into the arena of life and be ready for war because you are a warrior. What can you become? What can you do with the time that you have? Tomorrow's not promised, so we have to do it today. We have to make a decision right here, right now. Will you be someone that can overcome grief? Can you find relief by finding your purpose in life? Can you believe again? Can you dream again? Can you love again? The answer is absolutely yes, because you are a warrior.
The thing that's so interesting about being alive is that you're all in. No matter what you do, you're all in. This is going to kill you. So I think you might as well play the most magnificent game you can while you're waiting. Because do you have anything better to do? Why not pick the best thing possible that you can do? Because you're more powerful than you think. Way more powerful than you think. I mean, God only knows what you are in the final analysis. You're blind to your own weaknesses, but you're also blind to your own strengths. How far can you take that? If you stopped wasting time, and if you stopped lying, and if you oriented yourself to the highest possible good that you could conceive of, and you committed to that, how much good could you do? Well, I would say, why don't you find out?
We're all looking for this golden purpose. Is it this? Is it that? Is it making money? Is it my family? Motherfucker, the purpose is you. Every fucking day I wake up and I don't want to do some fucking shit. I'm like, okay, man, do you want to be a bitch today? Do you want to walk around all day knowing that you could, but you didn't? You're in the fucking dungeon, but guess what, motherfucker? I'm still going to get it.
Do not misunderstand me. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice. We are all telling ourselves a story.
Yes, sir.
Rise up and aggressively move forward down the path toward victory.
Check, 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 check. Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. You know what time it is. We back in here, baby. Nah, I'm just playing. We back for another Tech Tuesdays. And today, we bugging. We are bugging. All right. We're going to look at some top glitches of all time. I like it. Let's get this motivation in here for the day. Let's not waste no time. Keep it going. Switch over to this main. Bing, 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 bing. All right, let's go. Motivation for health. We ain't got 13 minutes to spend. We need something short. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see what this is.
So, team, this is how you get stuff done.
No. We need somebody talking to us. Let's go.
Let's learn how to work our machinery a little bit.
I agree. We don't, in this culture, teach people how to operate their mind and body. How do you get motivated? Well, one way to do that is if you are good at subjectively attaching dopamine to the pursuit, just knowing, okay, I really am hungry for this. I'm going to tell myself that, making it 1% of the way is a success, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep ratcheting on. And then the other aspect of it is that anytime that we're leaning into action, it has the possibility of being an amplifying process or a depleting process. And the key to that is making sure that you're balancing the dopamine and epinephrine systems. We have to remember that this mechanism of dopamine and pathfinding to goals is in every animal, humans, dogs, sheep. So a grazing animal might be on a really barren landscape. They go some direction and they don't smell water, which animals can do. And so they veer off course, and then all of a sudden they get a little bit of scent of water. At that point, that's when the dopamine is released, not when they get the water and drink from it. So that puts them in energy to get there. You think about walking in the desert and you're just dying of thirst, and all of a sudden you spot a big lake. All of a sudden, you will have the energy to run the remaining mile, whereas before you thought you were going to die. How is that? It's not like more glycogen is suddenly available. It's not like ketones did it for you. So what did it? That's dopamine. That's dopamine release that says there's a reward waiting for me. And I would say finally, in 2020, we finally as a field got a clear idea of how dopamine is really working. If you can start to register, that craving and that friction and that desire, that almost kind of low level of agitation, sometimes high level of agitation, that is that I'm trying to impose my will on the world in a benevolent way, we hope, that's dopamine. It's working with its close cousin, which is epinephrine, which is adrenaline. They are very close cousins. In fact, dopamine manufactures epinephrine. A lot of people don't know this, but adrenaline is actually made from the molecule dopamine. Okay, so those two are hanging out together. It's like crave work, crave work, crave and work, crave and work, crave and work. And then you get the win. And some people allow the big peak in dopamine to be associated with the win. And smart people learn to adjust their celebration internally, right? This is all internal. You could throw the biggest party in the world, but as long as you're kind of laid back and looking at this, not letting yourself get manic crazy, you won't necessarily crash as hard, and pretty soon your system will reset. So that you take the day, you clean up the dishes, you relax, you go, what now? I'm feeling a little low. Well, rather than going out and spiking your dopamine again, just wait. Understand that the scale will reset again. Give yourself a few days where you're gonna feel a little kind of underwhelmed. Things aren't gonna be as interesting. It's gonna be hard to trigger that big release because you just had the peak. Well, if you adjust that, you relax, you understand there's always a little bit of a postpartum depression. We sometimes hear about postpartum depression. That's a clinical thing, but there's always that kind of, today's not as exciting as the previous days. What am I going to do with my life? But then if you let it start ratcheting up again, then what you realize is your capacity to tap into dopamine as a motivator, not just seeking dopamine rewards, that is infinite. And I can say with great certainty that this is how you were able to build a big company and sell it, how you've been able to build a successful podcast and sell it, how you're constantly seeking, because seeking is the reward. And I think for most people, we think of the reward as the finish line. And so the key is to get to the finish line, step into the end zone, but no end zone dance. It's just like, yep, and now I'm gonna go do it again. How we view the world is shaping the release of these chemicals. And I do believe this happens when we have positive thoughts, we get a lift. If we can get a lift from our positive thoughts, and then dopamine itself puts us in relationship with the outside world such that we view the outside world as having more possibility, that is going to put us into forward momentum. There are a lot of studies to support that. The key with positive thinking is that it has to be honest. It can't be, I've already won, I don't have an Olympic gold medal. If I could tell myself I'm going to get one tomorrow, but I just don't have the skills. So that's not going to release dopamine in my system. The key thing is that you can't just be all gas pedal all the time without rewarding yourself. It's mental energy. It's the desire to push on. It's the desire to keep going. And
so we need some consistent dopamine hits throughout the days or our months to give us more energy to pursue.
That's right.
What's up,
but we don't want to be.
I see MP's made his way into the starting lineup. That's good for him, his team, the fans, everybody.
Big ideas.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Don't come easy. But when you get one, Use that moment of clarity.
Sorry, y'all. But anyway.
Over pursuit, because then we'll burn out.
That's right. And so everyone has to find where that sweet spot is. There's a lot of interest these days in like habits and habit formation, because when you move that horizon in close and you complete something small, it's not about what you completed, it's the fact that you completed. So one thing to understand is that dopamine release in the brain is always subjective. There's no experience that says that has unique domain over dopamine release, that will only allow dopamine release. So if it's very subjective. So if I say to myself, I'm going to get into the process of doing something. We have a new year coming up, so there's gonna be a lot of resolutions soon. It's not if you attach the dopamine release to the process of effort or goal setting itself, you'll have more energy to be in effort. And then if you can attach dopamine release to the belief that you're at least heading in the right direction, you'll have more energy to keep going in the right direction. People make the mistake of thinking that the positive thought process should be attached to the finish line. It's not about thinking you've already won. It's not about being delusional. It's about thinking that your training is going to take you to the finish line. And so it's about moving that mental horizon in more closely, and then triggering some sort of positive internal representation of what you're doing, meaning thinking positive. And people, this is usually where I get stopped and people say, wait, but it sounds so subjective. Tell me exactly how to do it. But here's the key point. It's supposed to be subjective. This
for you, right?
For everyone needs to figure out what allows them to continue to be in forward momentum, what allows them to constrain the world of possibilities and to go after goals, and how often to self-reward. But the key is the self-word, because if you start only pursuing external rewards, that's when you are no longer in control of your dopamine system. Make sure that reward, really bask in it, really appreciate what you've done and what's come to you. And here's a very important but, take that feeling of being saturated with dopamine, the huge win, and attach it to the effort process that got you there.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard him what to do. You understand me? So, top glitches in tech. Of all time. Let's see the top of all time. How long is this video?
Can you please?
Oh, that's 16 minutes. I don't want to see. All right, let's see.
In Hitman 2, you can pick up all kinds of items, but one of them felt like a secret from the developers. Players randomly grabbed a briefcase and all of a sudden realized it was a heat-seeking missile. It would even follow NPCs around corners. This thing was seriously lethal, so of course the devs stepped in to quickly patch it. Fans were immediately upset about this. I mean, the whole point of Hitman is to kill people in creative ways, but here's where the devs got clever. They took all the feedback, redesigning this into an actual weapon known as the Executive Briefcase Mark II. And to really nail the joke, they made it slower than the glitch ever was.
Yeah.
But one of the most famous myths in video game history is trying to stop the train in GTA 5. The community was obsessed with trying to figure this out, and at the time the consensus was that you couldn't stop it. But something that people never talk about is how a glitch 11 years ago actually let online players stop the train. Now, Rockstar patched this pretty quick, and it would lead to years worth of YouTube videos trying to replicate the glitch. This became so iconic that in 2024, they decided to turn this into a feature. A brand new heist that not only lets you stop the train, but also drive and crash it too. But sometimes the bug is so iconic that you can't afford to remove it. Like in Skyrim, where giants can straight up slap you into oblivion.
I just got punted to another moon.
Back in 2011, this was the funniest thing ever, and players could not get enough. Even though it absolutely destroyed your progress, Bethesda knew removing it would cause an outrage. And that's why over a decade later, it can still be found in-game.
Right. I'm gonna have to play that.
And over in Borderlands 2, something is kinda off about Tiny Tina. Yeah, her eye was not meant to be freaking out like that. It was a total glitch, and yet the devs thought it was hilarious. So in Borderlands 3, they decided to make this part of Tina's character, officially redesigning her with a lazy eye.
What is that?
A bit of a lesser-known game is Wanted Raccoon, where you basically play as one who loves committing crimes. But back in the early playtest days, fans had a huge piece of feedback. Their tail was sticking out of the box while hiding. Now, obviously, the clipping through kind of ruined the immersion, but instead of simply fixing it, the devs came up with a genius solution.
Nice.
Pretty adorable, unlike Minecraft's most iconic enemy, which was never even supposed to exist.
Right.
Creepers are one of the unofficial mascots at this point and helped launch the game to become one of the biggest things on the planet. But I bet you didn't know they were actually a total accident. Notch was trying to design a pig, but accidentally got the dimensions wrong, leading to a super tall and skinny creature with 4 legs. Thankfully for us, he ended up liking this mistake and redesigned it into the creeper that we're all terrified of.
So then we come upstairs. We have this little area right here. I don't really know.
Now, I cannot believe this was a real thing, but it turns out World of Warcraft had a glitch that was so bad the government had to study it. Back in 2005, they added a debuff that could be transferred between players, but it was only meant to happen at a single location. Almost immediately, a glitch took over, letting people spread this debuff to anyone in the game. And before they knew it, they had an actual pandemic on their hands. Blizzard tried desperately to stop it, and everything failed, eventually forcing them to push a hard reset. This bug was so unbelievable that actual researchers studied it to see how people would react in a real pandemic. Obvious foreshadowing aside, players thought this was the coolest thing ever, and Blizzard clearly agreed. So in future expansions, they created intentional pandemics just for fun, which is pretty awkward considering one of them actually happened a few years ago. But a glitch you could use to your advantage was in Crash Bandicoot. While fighting Tiny Tiger, all you had to do was stand in the corner and you could totally cheese the fight. So when the remake came out, fans were excited to try this again. I mean, surely the devs wouldn't make the same mistake twice, right? Well, that's when we all got a taste of karma. Sometimes it makes no sense to turn bugs into features, like in Red Dead Redemption. Back in the day, the game had one of the creepiest glitches of all time, with players coming across the donkey lady.
Now, the donkey woman likes to take us places. As you can see, she's very fast on her feet.
Yeah.
She literally has a horse's mouth coming out of her face.
Yeah.
So when Rockstar came back to make Red Dead 2, they just knew they had to reference this. And that's when players discovered an even creepier skeleton working on a farm. Right from the skull, we could immediately tell this was Donkey Lady. But when you think about it, this is a prequel, so her being dead doesn't make a lot of sense. Interesting choice. But there's a glitch out there that spawned an entire genre of video games. What? While making Street Fighter 2, a Capcom employee noticed an unintended feature inside of the fighting animations. If you were fast enough, you could cancel your current move and start another attack, creating combos. This would go on to affect every fighting game in history. Start another feature inside of the fighting animations. While making Street Fighter 2, a Capcom employee noticed an unintended feature inside of the fighting animations. If you were fast enough, you could cancel your current move and start another attack, creating combos. This would go on to affect every fighting game in history, making one of the most influential bugs of all time. And Bethesda was just as surprised when players outsmarted them in Skyrim. They realized you could put a bucket on someone's head and it would block them from seeing you, you know, letting you steal all their stuff with no consequences. And what's even crazier is that the devs never expected this.
No one thought to do that. All our QA, all the hundreds of hours, thousands, tens of hundreds of thousands of hours we collectively played that game.
Taking things from buckets to pans, it kind of reminds me of PUBG's insane feature. The most powerful melee weapon isn't a sword or a hammer, it's the frying pan, and in the early days it wiped out enemies in a single hit. But during development, the devs wanted to add collisions so people could deflect grenades with a well-timed hit. So they dropped the update and called it a day, only to wake up the next morning and realize players discovered something ridiculous. This collision accidentally turned frying pans into bulletproof shields.
That's right.
It just shot your pan? How did that happen to you?
Fans were in love with this, a total accident which ended up becoming one of the game's staple features. And most of us hate when something's buggy, but if glitches didn't exist, neither would the biggest game on the planet. In 1995, some developers were working on a game called Race and Chase, and you could choose to play as cops or robbers. Except, there was this glitch that caused the police to chase you aggressively, and playtesters had a blast with this. It was so fun, they scrapped the playable cops completely and reworked the entire game around escaping them, naming their new project Grand Theft Auto. Now, it's literally the most well-known game on the planet, and in later titles like GTA 4, they'd keep the idea of embracing glitches. In fact, this swing set might be the most iconic bug in gaming history.
Whoa.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yo.
Nicknamed the Swing Set of Death, this would ultimately become way too popular for Rockstar to get rid of, forcing them to keep it in over 16 years later. But did you know that TF2's most famous class started out as a glitch? Yeah, in 1996 they created this entire franchise as a mod for Quake. However, the devs found a bug which caused players' names to have the enemy team's colors. It caused a ton of confusion, and yet this inspired an idea. What if they created a class that could do this on purpose? And that's when the Spy was born. And while we're on the topic of Quake, this game had a bug of its own. When players started shooting rockets at their feet, they realized it wouldn't hurt them, and instead it launched them into the air. Within seconds, a light bulb went off in the community. This was an insane way to get around, becoming the classic strategy known as rocket jumping. And Fortnite had a very similar moment with their RPGs. In 2017, players were just messing around.
You want ads that drive results.
Hey, I like
That's
this
why we
video.
built Roku Ads Manager. Sign up at ads.roku.com.
Yeah, good job, commercial.
Until they
I like this. I like this because if you don't play these video games, then you probably ain't never seen none of this stuff, or probably never even cared. But if any of these games are anything you've ever seen, then you like up on it. You like, yo, I seen that. I remember that. Like I am right now.
accidentally landed on a moving rocket. This was a total glitch, and yet the concept of riding missiles was way too good to delete. So Epic decided to keep it in, and not only that, but the idea expanded across every throwable in the game. Now players could ride on things like medkits, shield pots, and they even turned the feature into a loading screen. But over in Crash Team Racing, people were driving around as Penta Penguin, only the feature into a throwable in the game. Now players could ride on things like medkits, shield pots, and they even turned the feature into a loading screen. But over in Crash Team Racing, people were driving around as Penta Penguin, only to hear an unfinished voice line.
Penguin Ye 1, Penguin Ye 2.
I don't know about you guys, but I do not think that was Penta Penguin. It was definitely a placeholder line that was never meant to be heard, and yet the devs accidentally left it in. This mistake was so ridiculous that when Crash Team Racing got a remake in 2019, players were shocked to hear this. And personally, I love what the devs did with the Zelda series. In Link to the Past, there was a glitch with the net item, letting you deflect Aghanim's magic straight back at it.
I got Crash Team Racing. I want to go on there and unlock the penguin just to see if that's still in there. It should be in there because I got the original version. Let me see.
Ye 2.
Penguin, only to hear an unfinished voice line.
Penguin Ye 1, Penguin Ye 2.
I don't know about you guys, but I do not think that was Penta Penguin. This mistake was so ridiculous that when Crash Team Racing got a remake in 2019, players were shocked to hear this. And personally, I love what the devs did with the Zelda series. In Link to the Past, there was a glitch with the net item, letting you deflect Aghanim's magic straight back at him without using the Master Sword. Instead of being all strict about it, Nintendo decided it was awesome and made it one of the series' longest running jokes. In Ocarina of Time, the empty bottles can deflect Ganon's magic. In Twilight Princess, the fishing rod causes Ganondorf to zone out. And even Skyward Sword's bug net forces Demise to stare at it. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Still not as insane as the ridiculous feature in Crusader Kings 3. The developers of this game are clearly big fans of Dwarf Fortress. And back in the day, there was this bug where fish would do 3 times as much damage as an unnamed dwarf. This let them absolutely slaughter humans, and the Crusader Kings devs must have found this hilarious. When it came to releasing the third game, they made an ultra rare event that can happen to your empire. There's a tiny chance that carps can actually eat your family members. What? But there is one glitch that I guarantee you've encountered while gaming without even knowing it. While developing Gradius, one of the programmers found the game way too difficult, and because he had the power to do so, he created a cheat code to give him all the power-ups. Only problem was, when the game released, he totally forgot to remove this. And players would soon discover that up, down, left, right, BA would hand them the ultimate set of cheats, the Konami code. And those were video game bugs that became features. It's been Sammy. Keep it here on.
That's what's up, Sammy. I appreciate that. I wonder what this type of stuff is in. Yep, there we go.
Hi, we're Shiming and Amber. Here's how we created our Pet Steps app for class.
Hello guys, welcome back to another creepy video here on Most Amazing Top 10. Phones have become such an ordinary part of our day-to-day lives and they work just fine most of the time, but sometimes glitches happen. And I don't mean little glitches, I mean pretty terrifying ones. I found the best stories of this for you, if you can handle them. My name is Danny Burke and this is the top 10 scary phone glitch stories. Starting off at number 10, we have the Dead Man. This is a very creepy glitch from 2016. The video shows a man holding a new phone and opening his camera app. Now take a look at the bottom left of the screen. That's the bit that shows the previous image taken, and he says it's showing an image that didn't exist on his phone beforehand, the image of a dead man. When he tries to tap on the picture, he just gets a strange error message. Now he said the phone was totally brand new. He took it to get fixed at a phone shop and they told him to do a total factory reset. He did, but the picture was still there. That strange dead man in the corner of the screen. Alright, next up at number 9 now, we have the daughter. This story comes from Reddit user Bilba Papa, who said that many years ago he got a call from his wife telling him that she was pregnant. Suddenly, his wife's voice cut out and he heard the voice of a girl on the other end calling him daddy. He explained that he wasn't her daddy, but she insisted he was before quickly hanging up the phone. His daughter was born later on, and then years later when she was a little girl, he caught her talking on the phone to someone in their house. She told him that she had been talking to him, even though he was clearly in the room with her and didn't get the call at all. He shrugged it off, but the memory has haunted him ever since. Next up at number 8, we have the ringtone. This story comes from Winter Moon 555, who said that one night she was staying in a hotel after a party. She switched off her phone. It was one of those old flip phones. She put it in her handbag and she turned off the light. Now as soon as the light went out, the music started. Creepy organ music coming from her phone. She fumbled for the light switch and grabbed her phone out of her bag. The tune was still playing loudly, even as she tried to turn it off. Whatever button she pressed, it just wouldn't stop. The screen was totally white. She was very freaked out, so she removed the battery and the SIM card, and finally the scary song stopped. The next day her phone was back to normal, but there was one last creepy twist to this story. When she went through her ringtones and listened to each one individually, she couldn't find the song. There was no trace of it ever again. Alright, next up at number 7 now, we have Texts from the Past. This is a very creepy story. This is something we've actually looked at before on this channel. In early 2017, people started reporting getting strange texts from the past. Some of them appeared to be from the same day, June 23rd, 2003. Some of them were from a number simply called 19, while others had a string of digits after that. The texts all appeared to be blank. Phone networks said it was a glitch, while others spread theories that it was either a hack from the CIA or even their past selves trying to contact them in the future. What do you guys think? Alright, at number 6 now, we have 1970. In February 2016, iPhone users started reporting on a very strange glitch. If you had automatic timekeeping disabled and you set your phone time to January 1st, 1970 at the stroke of midnight, the phone would just break. For real. People would turn their phones off, and when they came back on, the phone would just be forever on the loading screen. A lot of people had theories that this was some creepy date, maybe related to the history of Apple, but tech experts said it was just a glitch to do with how time is coded in iOS. Either way, just don't go that far back in time when setting your phone's time. Not worth it. Alright, moving on to number 5 now, we have the fountain. This story comes from Reddit user Deliic, who said that one day they were visiting a spa with their friend. They left their phone in the bedroom to charge and went out for lunch. On the way to the restaurant, they saw a nice looking fountain, but when they went to take a picture of it, they realized they had left their phone behind. They carried on with their day, they ate and spent time at the spa before going to sleep at 11:45 p.m. They woke up the next morning, went into their pictures, and there was the photo of the fountain. It was taken at about lunchtime the day before. They said there was no way they could have mixed up their phones, and besides, his was about to die on battery anyway. How did this happen? Many commenters in this thread had theories on parallel universes, and was there something special about that fountain? Moving on to number 4 now, we have FaceTime. In 2011, a strange glitch started happening where people using Apple's FaceTime would see random pictures of themselves just appear on the screen that they said they never even took. One guy said he called his girlfriend and saw a picture of himself from that day at the office. Now, he hadn't taken a picture of himself at the office. It wasn't stored on his phone either in his photos. This raised a lot of security concerns because if they weren't taking the pictures of themselves, who was? The FaceTime glitch seems to have exposed a hidden feature of picture taking. Best case scenario, It's just your phone being kind of creepy. At worst, it's another person being creepy with your phone. At number 3 now, we have the Obama Prize. In April 2013, word started going missing from text messages. It was happening in Apple's iMessage when users text certain phrases and the last word would be deleted, leaving just a weird space behind. It only happened with the phrases, "I could be the next Obama," and also the phrase, "The best prize is a surprise." Now, if you sent those texts with spaces after those last words, the words Obama and surprise would mysteriously disappear. Nobody could figure out why, and Apple refused to comment. This left some people thinking that the missing words were clues left behind by some hacker or Apple employee, and that there was some full message yet to be decoded. Next up at number 2 now, we have Grandma. In October 2014, Sherry Emerson got a text from her grandma. The only problem was, she was already dead. They had buried the phone with their grandmother when she died because she loved to text people. Sherry sent a few messages to her as part of her grieving process, never expecting a reply, so she was more than shocked when she got a text that said, "I'm watching over you. You'll get through this. You'll be alright." Similar texts came through and Sherry started freaking out that maybe she was still alive or that someone had dug up her phone from that grave. Eventually, the phone company came forward and said there had been a glitch in their system. Sherry had asked them to remove the number from the system before, and they said they did, but somehow it still went live again. What do you guys think? Tech mistake or message from beyond? Moving on to number 1 now, we have bowling. One Reddit user said they went bowling with their family one night and wanted to post a picture of the empty lane to Instagram. When they went to post it though, they noticed it had changed. The picture was still of the bowling lane, except they were now in it. It was a view of them from behind, about to bowl. After a few seconds, the picture switched back to the original. They said they were seriously freaked out and are sure that no one else could have taken the picture because it was in their pocket and hands the entire time. They begged other Reddit users for a rational explanation, but nobody could offer one. Well, that was creepy. I'd love to hear your thoughts or even explanation on those because most of them still don't have a good answer to this day. Have you guys ever...
People be doing stuff through your phone. All right, anyway. All right, let's see this one.
Thinking about starting to run on the treadmill again. I need to drop my belly fat.
Yeah, no, that's total BS.
I think I'm gonna start cutting carbs.
Also, total BS.
Okay.
What am I supposed to do then?
So a glitch in the Matrix is when you see or encounter something weird and out of place. These glitches come from, but are not limited to, lighting illusions, out-of-place objects, duplications, implausible-looking scenarios, and broken textures. Long story short, when something really weird or irregular is noticed, we call this a glitch in the Matrix. How about a cloud over a mountain that refuses to leave its placement? Or streaming water? Waves of water mysteriously disappearing into black sand. Sometimes, humans react identically in every motion.
What?
Don't even get me started about sports. Golfers carrying the same momentum. Sometimes these are so strange. Golfers carrying the same momentum. Sometimes these are so strange you have to ask if the...
What?
Sometimes these are so strange you have to ask. Sometimes these are so strange you have to ask if the footage is being played backwards.
That would have to be in reverse.
What about finding a near identical copy of yourself at a wedding? Have you ever seen a bird hovering in place? It's not a bug, it's a feature. What about a plane? Or two? Sometimes, physics seem to be off. Other times, textures don't seem to load properly. Sometimes cars fall to the geometry of the world. and sometimes the incorrect art style loads in. Actually, a lot of art seems to come in a little weird. And don't get me started on Don't get me started on clouds. We've got 90-degree angles, squares completely missing, cloud shaped like a cube, and yes, even spherical clouds. Sometimes humans float, and other times boats float. Even trees float from time to time. Clusters of humans programmed to take the shortest route, only to find it's blocked. Occasionally, you'll get a person who seemingly wasn't there before just appear. Wasn't there before. Occasionally, you'll get a person who seemingly wasn't there before. Occasionally, you'll get a person who seemingly Occasionally, you'll get a person who seemingly wasn't there before just appear. And this isn't a one-off kind of thing. It happens more than you think. Is it just an optical illusion or something else? Sometimes an optical illusion or something else. Sometimes a glitch in the matrix is a blink and you miss it moment. My favorite glitches in the Matrix are those that line up with the idea that we live in a simulation. That programming and artificial intelligence can only create so many possible outcomes. Eventually, patterns are discovered, and it's hard to stop noticing them once you've seen them. Like these similar chickens doing similar things. Or characters in a sports game repeating the same motions at the same time. Some glitches entertain. Others you can't explain. Some glitches baffle the brain. Some glitches baffle the brain. Some make you feel like you're going insane. Some make you feel like you're going insane. Some glitches can be explained by synced frame rates. And others explained by skilled professionals. Oftentimes, music can explained by skilled professionals. Oftentimes, music can sync up and cause a weird effect. Some glitches make you scratch your head. Not once, but twice. Sometimes, physics get thrown completely out the window. Completely out the twice. Sometimes physics get thrown completely out the window. A glitch in the Matrix isn't simply photos, videos, and GIFs. It's a vast collection of fascinating stories and experiences people have lived through or seen with their own eyes. Think about it. Cameras have only been around for a good 100+ years, meaning for 99% of humanity's existence, we never had the option to record these bizarre moments and visuals. Spoken word and eventually...
All we had the option to do was just talk about them. I'm putting this on the playlist. Oh, yes. We're going to ride this thing on out.
Written word is all that we have. So for
there is electromagnetic energy in that pyramid between 200...
The next part of this video, I'm going to read some glitches in the Matrix that others have experienced, thought about, or witnessed. Has anyone else lost an article of clothing and you not realize that it's been missing until you look at photos from a year or two ago? It's the weirdest thing. I was going through my photos and deleting some pictures for the sake of space, and every so often I'll come across a picture of me wearing some random shirt I used to love, and I'd think, I love that shirt. What happened to it? So this got me thinking, where did all those pieces of clothing go? I don't remember throwing them away or donating them. I live alone, so no one else could have taken them as far as I know. And it's impossible.
I think they call this part subjective.
That I left them somewhere in public and forgot to take them home, so after moving the mattress, glitches in the Matrix are strange visual anomalies that make you scratch your head. Did I really just see that? That's all I could ever ask. Bench. Or these trees that forgot to fully appear. The same thing with these clouds. Or how about this terribly unsettling natural occurrence? Sometimes you see things that make you question everything. I mean, what are the odds? When it's raining and pouring, but it's only on you. Then imagine if your umbrella decided to walk away. Or if one when it's raining and pouring, but it's occurrence. Sometimes you see things that make you question everything. I mean, what are the odds? When it's raining and pouring, but it's only on you. Then imagine if your umbrella decided to walk away. Or if one day the orange juice forgot to load in. Sure, we all watch TV, but how often? Or if one day the orange juice forgot to load in. Sure, we all watch TV, but how often does TV watch you? Or how about this island? TV watch juice forgot to load in. Sure, we all watch TV, but how often does TV watch you? Or how about this island that's in a lake, in a volcano, that's in a lake, that's in an island, in the ocean? In a lake, this island, TV watch you. Or how about this island?
The island
that's in a lake.
It's in a lake.
In a volcano. That's in a lake.
It's in a lake.
That's in an island.
It's in an island.
In the ocean. You wanted more glitches in the Matrix? Here we go. Glitches in the Matrix are strange visual anomalies that make you scratch your head. Did I really just see that? Did that actually happen? Sometimes it makes you stop and double take. There are numerous examples out there of glitches, and just as many theories and explanations trying to make it all make sense. Some say these glitches are examples of how this is all a simulation, while others shout that everything is fake and Photoshop. There are 1,000 other rationales between the two, so wherever you fall in that spectrum, let's sit back and enjoy the ride, because that's why we're all watching this, right? To have a good time. So let's get right into A Glitch in the Matrix 2. Let's start off with a really strange glitch. Here is a river that has a constant and steady flow, but when the person filming starts driving, it looks as if the river has completely stopped moving. Here is a ladder that's fed up with its job and has decided to quit.
Out of here.
Have you ever seen a professional athlete phase in and out of reality? Let's see that again. Check out this building that's... Let's see that again. Check out this building that's seemingly floating in midair. Or this building that seems to be missing a side or two. Look at this strange shadow distortion glitch. Whenever this guy moves away from the frame, his face's shadow is elongated and stretched out. Here's a really strange one. This is a comb placed against a mirror. Notice how the comb's teeth have a gap in them, but in the mirror, there is no gap. It just doesn't exist. What are the odds that every cop car light would be synchronized? Watch closely. Here are 2 deer. And now there's 3. Where did the 3rd deer come from? Look at this incredible apple. And now there's 3. Where did the 3rd deer come from? Look at this incredible apple. 2 different colors, perfectly split. And here's another split in half glitch, this time with some toast. A perfect line dividing the burnt and the unburnt. Where did this car come from?
It's
Pod 4 Ultra.
But it is almost over,
It's not a bet.
Dash cam, and one from the car's side looking back. Neither capture this magically appearing car. So where did it come from? Check out this floor and these shoes appearing car, and one from the car. There are 2 angles in this video. One from the front dash cam, and one from the car's side looking back. Neither capture this magically appearing car.
Where did it come from?
So where did it come from? Check out this floor and these shoes. The floor pattern nearly matches the shoes, creating an interesting optical illusion. Shoes disappearing into the floor is one thing, but what about socks? This man's socks perfectly match the floor beneath him. This next one is really spooky. Look at this fog layer that's just floating in midair, unmoving, like a PNG file in a video game. Speaking of unsettling, this tiny bubble decided it wasn't going to follow the laws of physics today. It's just floating there, unmoving. Look at how strange these wind turbines look during a long exposure photograph. To me, it gives off a strong Truman Show painted background aesthetic. How about this one? It's awfully strange how some buildings forget to load in all the way. What happened here? Sometimes it loads in too many of the same art assets. Here are 2 nearly identical grandpas walking around the same area. Here is one of many places on the earth where your car will roll backwards, uphill, when placed in neutral. The how is this happening and why is this happening has been speculated about for decades. Have you ever seen one of those clips of a plane not moving in air, just sitting there, hanging out, seemingly defying gravity? If not, here's a clip of a plane doing just that. Oh, but it's not just planes. Birds can also get stuck in this apparent glitch. This mysterious thing was found floating and morphing over Australia. What started as confusion online quickly turned into everyone saying it was a scud cloud, a naturally occurring thing, nothing weird about it at all. Nothing to see here. Except scud clouds look nothing like this. They look completely different. So, what do you think this is? When did this basketball player pass the ball? He has the ball in one frame, and then in the next the ball is in the hands of another player. Look at this ridiculously massive trillion-ton iceberg, perfectly broken into the shape of a rectangle. This next glitch has to do with a broken Nutella plate. Just watch.
Okay, so I just broke this plate, and I was making sure I had all the pieces, and I found this. The hell? I have no more of these plates. I have only one. Like, what?
Up next is a strange collection of glitches, all related to invisibility, or semi-transparency. Let's start small with this filing cabinet. Look at it, it's almost transparent. Here's a stroller that's seemingly moving on its own. Or is that a person pushing the stroller wearing clothing that makes them look nearly invisible? Absolutely perfect camouflage. Next up is this building. What an incredible photograph. What is even happening here? Finally, we have the scariest one of all. A couple was relaxing at the pool and took a photo, only to later discover that the girlfriend was seemingly transparent in the photo. Pause and look at the details here. You can see right through her head. What in the simulation is this? Next up, we have fish in an aquarium that have seemingly forgotten to animate. No swimming, no movement, just frozen in place. This next clip is incredible. A man kicks a cabinet door and it falls off its hinges, but now there are 2 doors on the ground instead of 1. Even in slow motion, this doesn't make any sense. Where did that second door come from? It just doesn't add up. The door that he kicked off has 2 hinges on one side and a handle on the other, so there's literally no room for another door to just appear. What do you think about this one? Up next is one of my favorite glitches ever. This woman is working in a restaurant and cuts a lemon in half. Then she cuts it again. She walks away to grab a bag. Comes back only to realize that her lemon isn't cut in half anymore. I'll let her explain.
So I'm like inspecting it, I take it out of the bag, I grab this lemon trying to see if I cut that one, I recut the lemon because the lemon wasn't cut anymore. I'm freaking out because the lemon was not cut in half anymore. It was literally intact.
I feel you, girl. I feel you. You be like, yo, dog, look, listen. I be living my life like this for all these years, all this time, and you ain't gonna tell me that that when you cut something, it ain't cut no more. What happened? Tell me now.
I'm the lemon. Take it out of the.
To grab a bag. Favorite glitches ever. This woman is working in a restaurant and cuts a lemon in half. Then she cuts it again. She walks away to grab a bag. Comes back only to realize that her lemon isn't cut in half anymore. I'll let her explain.
So I'm like inspecting it, I take it out of the bag, I grab this lemon trying to see if I cut that one, I recut the lemon because the lemon wasn't cut anymore. I'm freaking out because the lemon was not cut in half anymore. It was literally intact. And you can see me in the video cut the lemon in half. There was a glitch. This has never happened to me and I don't know how to act. I'm freaking out.
Then, get this, her TikTok blows up. Even articles are written about it. And then TikTok deletes that video and bans her account.
That's right.
TikTok says she's under 13. She appeals because she's obviously older than 13, and it gets rejected. Then it asks for her ID, so she submits her ID twice, and TikTok just scrubbed it all from the internet. Kinda weird, right?
That's right.
Eventually she's able to get back onto the platform by using her mom's phone, but she's unable to create an account anymore with any of her emails, her phone number, anything like that. Now here's the thing, if you've been on TikTok for long enough, you know what's allowed and what isn't allowed. And there is nothing questionable about her video. There's nothing worth banning, nothing worth hiding, nothing worth suppressing. It's just so strange. Here's what she had to say.
Yeah, that's me. Anyways, I had to remake my account, okay? They banned my account. They banned my whole account. I tried opening my TikTok and this is what I opened to. And I send an appeal, right? Send my ID and look. I did this twice, and they denied me both times. I don't understand why? Like why TikTok? What was the real reason? Okay, what was the real reason you did? Like, isn't that a little sus? Isn't that a little sus? You know what I mean? Yeah, I had to make any.
It's so the simulation interesting to me personally because of all the things that I've talked about on my channel, from the Mandela effect to the simulation theory, deja vu, time travel, ghosts, aliens, etc. Glitches are the only videos that get demonetized or taken down. Come to think of it, my glitch video was suppressed and demonetized under the excuse of harmful and dangerous acts, which it didn't contain any of whatsoever. Go watch it for yourself and find out. Now, we all love a good conspiracy, obviously. Humans love finding patterns and connecting the dots, because it's kept us alive this long. Oh, these berries are good, they help with inflammation. Oh, these berries are bad, they're poisonous and you'll get sick. Connecting the dots and details like that, it's in our DNA. Sometimes to our advantage, and sometimes to our detriment. So maybe I'm seeing patterns that aren't really there, but I think it's interesting nonetheless. And just in case, be sure to subscribe to all 3 of my channels, All Time 2, and All Time Clips. As well as check out my page and Street. They get smaller the closer behind the scenes content, and NASA came out and said, no it wasn't. Then people originally lasers cascading across the sky, coming from above, not below. Good-looking lasers cascading January 2023 over Hawaii. Literal green matrix code-looking lasers cascading across the sky, coming from above, not below. Originally it was reported that it was NASA satellites, but then NASA came out and said, no it wasn't. Then people speculated that it was Chinese satellites, but China came out and said, no it wasn't. So what are these lines? Some crazy unexplainable phenomenon? Something we can't quite figure out? People in airplanes playing with lasers? Or this next video is so cool. It is a massive building at the very end of the street that gets smaller the closer you get to it. Check it out. Be sure to look at the building right at the end of the street and watch the transformation. It is so trippy.
Yeah. It ain't even that big. That building ain't even that big.
The last glitch today is possibly
Hold up.
so trippy. Be sure to look at the building
You can see that building from all the way over here.
right at the end of the street and watch the transformation. It is so trippy.
It's the street.
The last glitch today is possibly my favorite glitch so far. It's in regards to a mysterious bag that was upstairs, somehow coming downstairs and being placed behind a closed and locked front door, overnight, where no one was staying. And get this, a Ring camera captured all of this, and what makes it even more unsettling is that this home is now empty because the woman who lived here recently passed away. This video toes the line between a glitch in the Matrix style video and a ghost video. Let's watch and listen to all the details so you can decide for yourself what really happened.
So this is the first step. Here's when I'm leaving my house. This is where I'm halfway through. And she doesn't come back until the next morning. So there's nothing on the floor. There's nothing in sight. Specifically at the door, there's nothing left there. So my mum leaves, doesn't come back, and nobody else comes into the house. This is in the next morning. My mum was so confused because there's a gift bag left at the door. Nobody has had access to this house.
I wanted to pause right here and talk about how authentic that confusion is. Watch your mother's reaction to everything that's going on. If you've ever encountered something spooky like this or some kind of strange glitch, it really does break your brain in a way that is completely visible to the camera. It's like a stunned disbelief.
Right. And you cannot.
Video. Let's watch and listen to all the details so you can decide for yourself what really happened.
So this is the first step. Here's when I'm leaving my house. This is where I'm halfway through. And she doesn't come back until the next morning. So there's nothing on the floor. There's nothing in sight. Specifically at the door, there's nothing left there. So my mum leaves, doesn't come back, and nobody else comes into the house. This is in the next morning. My mum was so confused because there's a gift bag left at the door. Nobody has had access to this house.
I wanted to pause right here and talk about how authentic that confusion is. Watch your mother's reaction to everything that's going on. If you've ever encountered something spooky like this or some kind of strange glitch, it really does break your brain in a way that is completely visible to the camera. It's like a stunned disbelief. That disbelief, it's typically really hard to fake that. If someone's terrified, you can feel it. If someone's scared, you can feel it. And if somebody's faking it, you can usually tell.
The Ring camera didn't pick up any motion in between my mum leaving and my mum arriving back with any person detected. So this is what was left at the door. She's so confused. She says she remembers leaving that bag upstairs. There's a pair of slippers in it. And I'll show you what the bag said, like what the gift bag actually said. So it says on it, a little something just for you, which is like so strange because gift bags usually say like happy birthday or Merry Christmas or things like that. But the fact it says this is so weird. But the next clip is where it gets even weirder.
Wow, a little something just for you. Incredible. And now the big
It's literally
video.
So like I said, there's been no motion of a person detected in the house. It's literally just been my mum leaving, my mum coming back, but the Ring camera like records through the night or just constantly. So I'll show you the next clip. This video is not edited, watch right here. I'm just gonna show it again. I just don't understand how a bag can just appear literally out of thin air. Like even if the Ring camera is recording in frames, like not continuously recording, how did that bag disappear? And if it like fell down the stairs somehow, or how is it landing up the way?
She's absolutely correct. If there was movement, as if the bag fell down the stairs, or if someone was in the house and placed it there, the Ring would have captured it. I know this because my Ring camera tells me every time, and it is your favorite from today's video.
All right, y'all, we're gonna get up out of here for the day. I hope y'all enjoyed them glitches, or we just was bugging today. See, look, even my webcam went out and kicked me off the webcam. I'm probably not even on the internet no more. Oh, I turned my PlayStation off. That's why. Yeah, that's funny. Anything with a glitch, we just be like, nah, that ain't it. Hey, man. Anyway, thank y'all for joining me again today here on Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. I'll get y'all in here one more time so y'all can see. Hold on. There you go. I'm back. All right, I'm your host, Dan F. Man. This is DGTA TV. It's another Tech Tuesday for y'all. Peace.
Is that there's a lot of different little things you can do to improve your style with things you already have. So I thought I could end this video off with a little chat with what we would like to call confidence.
Wrong in the past. Let's go.
This life that you have been given, this life that you are temporarily holding on to, this life that has been just given to you for only temporary reasons, has more meaning than you can ever imagine. Your life is your life, and you have the right to live it the best way you can.
Door can't open today, look out. I'm gonna come back and take the hinges off. You've got to have that kind of courage, that type of determination.
Yes, sir.
If you wanna make it happen.